Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 115, Franklin Airborne Tall Tree. There have been so many of these Joes. I'm surprised we're up to 115 already, but here we are. I'm really glad to get this guy. I wanted him when they announced him because he's the co-pilot of the Dragonfly, and I can't wait for that Dragonfly to get here. Every single day I look at that Pulse page to be like, when is it going to get here? Is it summer yet? We're pretty close. We're real close. We're inching further and further, closer and closer to getting that Dragonfly, and I cannot wait for that. But looking at the packaging here, mine came a little messed up in the delivery process, but that's fine. I'm not an inbox collector, so I'm not too worried about that. You can see all the accessories. You can see the really nice artwork here on the side. You can see the nice artwork here as well. The QR barcode, which you can scan if you want. It just takes you to the Hasbro website, but you can scan it if you want to. Various symbols here, parachute, fence, bullets, lightning bolts, all those normal things. There's a big Moai statue here. There is the Dragonfly up there. I can't wait to get it. I cannot wait to get it. There's a laser beam shooting out. I just saw that. There's a laser beam shooting out. That might be a reference to a cartoon episode that I can't remember. If it is, it should be on the screen now, if I remember to edit that in. But I just got shocked by that. Some really nice art here, not art, but renders of the symbols on the arm there, and the helmet and everything, and on the side here, a really nice big shot of that art piece. But enough looking at this. Let's get it open. And here we have Sergeant Franklin Tall Tree Airborne on the spinning base, and he looks really good. He looks really good. That's just something I want to say. The figure itself, just the base figure body and the head sculpt and everything looks really good. Now, the previously in the beginning of the intro, I mentioned there were some like laser beams coming off of those Easter Island heads, and the reason that is because I was curious. So I was like, "What's that from?" So I went back and I watched a whole bunch of the episodes of the Real American Hero series, and I found an episode where that happens because Airborne's brother gets taken by Cobra, and they go to this island where they have these like laser beams coming from these statues. So that's what that's referencing, which is a cool reference. I appreciate that. Very specific to that episode, and that's a really nice touch by the team at Hasbro. But that's that's a cool thing. But there's a lot of things here that are about this figure that are upsetting to me, that I have problems with. Let's bring him a little closer so we can actually take a look at that, because I do want to talk about them. And here is the Airborne figure himself. Now, the figure mold himself looks really good. This is exactly what he looks like from the original toy line. I'm very happy to have him, like I said, because he is the gunner for the Dragonfly, and that'll be here sometime this summer, and I cannot wait to get my hands on that. But looking at this to begin with, just starting from the top to bottom here, this head sculpt is really nice. Franklin is, of course, a Native American, so he's got a darker skin tone, darker hair, darker eyes. That all fits very well. Very severe, got a very tense face shape, which I think looks really nice. Works really well for him. Classic buzz cut. Looks really good. I like the blue and the gray and the brown and the little bits of green. Really makes like a very nice warm color combination that flows really well. It all looks like the way it should look. This here, however, this is nothing. This symbol means nothing. Airborne is supposed to be Army infantryman. He's a sergeant. So whatever this is not that. I looked at Air Force, it's not that. Look, Marines didn't look like that. Navy, I don't think so. So I don't know what this is. It's some amalgamation of a bunch of different Army insignias that are just incorrect and inaccurate. I don't know why that's the reason that they did that. Maybe this is to give some sort of explanation, I guess, for why this would be there. Maybe it's a unique team of airmen in the G.I. Joe squadron, because G.I. Joe is technically a separate part of the U.S. Army, so it's not the same thing. So maybe it's a different symbol ranking. That's what I'm going to say, because this means nothing. That is nothing. So that is a disappointing because it looks like really good. Like the thing is, it stands out really well, and the detailing looks really nice. It just doesn't mean anything. But looking at the rest of this, besides that, you can see the U.S. flag here in the middle of his chest there. Really nice detail work with the straps, the brown leather straps. He's got a grenade there, silver pin, green belt, and everything. And I don't know what's being picked up, but there's a really nice texturing on the pants as well as a seam line that's very visible, which is really nice. You can see the individual seam lines for all like the strands of string and everything, and it works really well. I have a bit of an issue here though, where bending the knees a little bit, there is some of that paint that from the brown knee pads that is rubbed off onto this specific knee. And while it's not the worst in the world, because have his legs locked up like this, you don't really even notice it. But I do know it's there, and that sucks, and I don't like that, which is a shame. But looking at the rest of the body here, at first I thought this was full reuse from the Stalker figure, but that is not the case. I think what a majority of the reuse is that you can see the collar on the neck there is about the same, as well as I think the neck joint might also be the same, but the arms are not. The arms are different because this one has the molded in, if it'll focus, the molded in elbow pads, whereas the other one does not. So that is not the same piece. Same for the knees and the legs in here and everything. I think it's just this inner torso piece and these shoulders right here, which are from the same mold. It's just they looked very similar because they share like a lot of the same like details with the designs. I thought it was the same thing, but it's not. It's reused, which is it's a new mold, which is very nice. This is a very nicely molded figure. I don't want to take away my nitpicks on the fact that this figure, this right here, is really good. And if you have the Dragonfly, you should get him because you kind of need him. Again, that nice look at his gloves here. There's a nice like bluish gray on here. It's same for the boots as well. There's a lot of blue in this figure, like a lot of like blue coloring, which I think works really well. Helps stand out a lot, but not garishly like the Ninja Force line or whatever. So it works really well. As for the articulation for this, there's of course a ball joint at the head here. You get a lot of range of motion there. So it's the exact same torso as the Stalker figure. So it's got the ab crunch here that it would have, as well as the ball joint at the waist. But the thing is, there's this overlay here, which makes it so the ab crunch is just non-existent. So you have the waist rotation here, but it's also hindered by the fact that he's wearing the full like gear, which is the trade-off you make for having like well molded and designed like pieces for this, which I'm okay with personally, because I mean, I'll be honest, when I'm using this guy for photos or whatever, and I'm going to put it with the Dragonfly, he's probably just going to stay in the Dragonfly. So just him being set down is not going to be a big deal, but that does hinder the articulation, which I mean could be a reason for you not to get it. So I'm letting you know that. Butterfly joint here at the shoulders here, or at the bicep, but they're a little stiff. This whole figure is actually very stiff for me. The elbows here, shoulder, full rotation there, hinge. There's a swivel here at the bicep, double jointed, pinless. This is all pinless elbows, which are very nice. There is an up and down hinge here at the hand. However, the length of the cuffs here kind of get in the way, so it's hard to get the full range of motion there with that one. That really isn't there. Real tough. And on this side, it's the back and forward, which is also a little hard to get in there because of the size of the cuffs, of course. Drop down hips, which are kind of negated again by this rig. You can move this here a little higher, a little lower, but it does still negate it. There's a swivel here at the thigh, double jointed pinless knees, like I said. This was real tight. Again, these joints are real tight for me. There's a swivel here at the calf, as well as a up and down and four-facing pin for rocker for the foot. So very standard what you get from a classified Joe figure. Now, I don't claim to know anything. Quite frankly. But what I do know is good figure plastic. And this has none of that. This is where I really get upset with this figure. Starting with this backpack here, which is, I've seen this backpack 2,600 times. It's in all the Dukes. All the Dukes have them. I have like 4 different versions of this backpack. I have like 5 of these backpacks now. So, standard here, got the entrenching tool, got the water canisters here, everything on here, except it doesn't have as much paint as, for instance, the Duke one, the newest Duke one has. So this is just the same backpack you've seen 100 times. It is still hard as a rock, So there's that nice one. I'm sure everyone at this point has at least 1 or 2 of them if you bought those Ram cycles, because I have an excess of those and an excess of Tiger Force Dukes. Looking at the helmet here, it's basically the same one that you'd get from like your Clutch or your Rock and Roll or whatever, except this one has specific earmuffs on here, which makes sense because, you know, he's a paratrooper. He would have to cover his ears for them to not be blasted with air on the way down. And there's also a peg here in the helmet here, so that way you can slot in these large night vision goggles. Now, the issue here for me is that both of these are very soft plastic, so it's hard to get them in and to get them to stay. Like you can get it, but it just doesn't want to work with you, and it comes out super easy. But it's designed in a way that so you can lay it in like how I just showed it there with them down, and if I can get in here, see the issue is, or lay it in here so it's up high when he's not using them. That one looks a little weird, but that is there, and I appreciate the fact that that is there. I don't know if I'll be using it. It's a cool feature, definitely very cool. My issue though is I wish that all of the like Joes that came with those helmets could use that, because only this one can, because it's the only one with the depth required to put in the quad nods. Which I feel is a shame, because I wish you could put it in like Clutches or Rock and Rolls or whatever. You could swap them in and out. That would really add some value to that. I guess you could always Dremel a hole out, but you shouldn't have to do that. So yeah, there's that. There are right here, if you look, the covers where his goggles here would be in, and you can lay them on the top of the helmet to recreate what it would look like on the toy, as that's originally what it looked like. This is what the helmet looked like right here with the goggles on the top, as well as, oh, there goes the helmet. He has his regular goggles, which I don't know what's being picked up here. There's some paint smudging on mine, which sucks. So there is I'm having some hefty QC issue with this figure. Also, there's a little bit of paint I just noticed on the helmet here. I'm not worried about that though. That kind of blends in whatsoever. So this is the part that really grinds my gears. This is the weapons. So I get that it's accurate to the original toy to include these weapons, but I don't feel like this works for him at all. So the weapons that he comes with are, starting off here, he has this knife, which I think is fine. You know, it goes into his sheath on his torso very well, slides in there very nicely. Looks a little bit like a butter knife. I would have heard like a Bowie knife or something, but hey, you know what? It works there fine. He can use it, whatever. It works just fine for him. He comes with this pistol, which is whatever. It's like it's like a Glock or something, like a Sig. Looks more like a Sig. Whatever. It's got a really annoyingly long barrel here, so you can slide in this suppressor, which doesn't sit quite right, so it actually doesn't look that good. Actually, that works a little better. But yeah, you can do that. Cool. The main issue for me is that he comes with this, which, if you don't know, is Firefly's gun. This is the gun that Firefly comes with, the new one. I don't have that figure, but it comes with it. And I don't like that for Airborne. That doesn't feel right. You know what he should have come with? The newly molded M16 that they made, which works perfectly. And by the way, this specific coloring works really well for Airborne because it matches the greens that he has on his torso. So it actually blends in really well. It actually works very well color-wise, so it doesn't stand out or anything. They should have just included this. Quite frankly, I would like if they included this with all of the Joes going forward. Like, you can obviously have your special weapons experts and everything that have like their unique items, but I would like it if all the Joes came with this just regardless. Like, if you're gonna put a lot of accessories in them, which I'm not gonna complain about, put accessories in them that make sense and like look good. Again, like I said, I know that's the one that comes with him on the original toy. Not begrudging them for doing that, but I'm just saying that there were better options that they should have chosen. So yeah, that's that one. Oh yeah, and you can take the magazine out, put it back in, and you can, you know, add the suppressor onto it if that's what you want to do. Again, this will be thrown into a box. If I can't even get the suppressor on it. That's how mad I am. Can't get the suppressor on it. This will get thrown into a box, and I'll forget about it, and I'll give him the one that I just showed. So yeah, those are the accessories. Kind of mid. And so up for size comparison, also look, the color matches, works really, like I said, looks really good. As for size comparison, here he is next to Duke, who was one of my most recent reviews, and they look really good together. Really catches the old, like, actual 80s cartoon look. I mean, that Airborne is pretty much dead on for what it looked like in the cartoon. Well, not the cartoon. Cartoon looked a little weird, but in the toy line, that's pretty dead on. So that looks really good. So yeah, these guys look really nice together. And here's Airborne next to another Native American Joe, who is Spirit. And they look really nice together. Spirit and Freedom also. Skin tones match pretty well. Spirit's a little darker, but they look really nice together. I love both these figures. I really do. Despite all my gripes I said about Airborne, I really think he's very good with just some minor adjustments. And just because I can, Stone Cold. Why not? I just got him. It's just fun to add him in there. And lastly, here he is next to my Scarlet figure. Scales really well together. Oh boy. Take two. Here he is next to my most recent review of Scarlet. They look really good together. Scarlet is continuing to look very small next to all the other Joes, which, maybe why they included so many accessories. I keep bringing it up. I don't know why. But they look really good together. I love the Scarlet figure. I love the Airborne figure. I really do love everything that the Classified line has been doing so far, and I can't wait to see what comes next. And there is Airborne. He's really good. Despite all my gripes and all my little nitpicks, he really is very good. And if you can get a hold of him, totally do it. He's great, especially if you're getting the Dragonfly. Because I really do appreciate the fact that the Dragonfly did not include Airborne, simply because I would not want him locked behind a paywall. So he's really good. Get a hold of him if you can. Also, if you can, get a hold of the Gridiron Studios accessory pack that they produced for him, because it adds everything that I wish he had to begin with. Gridiron really makes some good stuff. I might do a review for some of their stuff sometime, but it's stuff's really expensive. Their stuff is very expensive. So I'll see about that. But thank you so very much. If you liked this, you can join the Discord server down below, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I post all the pictures that I do for this on my Instagram basically the same day or before I upload the video. So thank you so very much. Please like, comment, subscribe, everything that needs to be done for the algorithm to keep putting me on the front page. My last two videos have done really well. Duke and Scarlet. So if you hear from that, thanks for sticking around, and hopefully we'll have more stuff out sooner and sooner. So thank you so very much. I will see you when I see you next. Yo, Joe.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.